How's it going, guys? I'm Sydney from PhoneDog.com, and today Microsoft gave us a sneak peek of its newest version of Windows Phone, Windows Phone 8. And they talked about a lot of new features. I'm going to highlight some of them in this video and also kind of tell you guys what I think of them. So first of all, let's get the bad news out of the way. Windows Phone 8 will not be coming to current Windows Phone devices. I know it really sucks. Hopefully this is the only time Microsoft pulls something like this, otherwise a lot of people are going to be really upset. However, current devices will be getting an update called Windows Phone 7.8, and it will come with some of the new features like the start screen, which I'll talk about in a minute. But that's the bad news. Let's move on to the good news and all of the cool new features. So first of all, a big thing is that Windows Phone 8 will officially support multi-core processors, and the cool thing is that not only will it support dual-core processors and quad-core processors, but it'll support virtually any number of cores they eventually use, all the way up to 64 cores if we eventually use that. So it's future-proof, which is nice, but it also means that this fall we will have dual-core processors in Windows phones, or quad-core processors if manufacturers decide to do that. Also, another hardware upgrade, they will now have support for HD displays. There's actually 3 resolutions that Microsoft will be supporting with Windows Phone 8. One of those is 1280 by 720. And support for micro SD cards, which was kind of a feature with Windows Phone 7, but it didn't really work out the way that Microsoft wanted it to. And so to avoid all of the trouble and confusion, most manufacturers just ditched it completely. But now with Windows Phone 8, micro SD cards will be completely supported, so you'll have expandable memory. Now, one thing that a lot of people talk about with Windows Phone is the start screen. They want it to be more customizable. This is something that Aaron harps on all the time, and I agree with him. It would be nice if we could choose the size of the apps instead of like, okay, the messaging app has to be a square instead of a rectangle. Well, now with Windows Phone 8, you can do that. You can decide to have it be a rectangle. There's actually 3 sizes. You can have the rectangle, the square, and then there's an even smaller size for the apps that maybe you don't use too much, you don't need a whole lot of information, you just kind of want a little shortcut there on your start screen. You can use one of those 3 app sizes, and then that gap on the right side of the home screen where there was the arrow to slide over to the complete list of your apps, that's gone. So now those live tiles, they take up the entire start screen. Personally, I kind of don't like this. It might take a little bit of getting used to because now it just seems more cluttered to have tons of tiles that are all different sizes taking up the entire screen. The cool thing will be whenever developers start taking advantage of these new sizes, will they have different functionalities or different features for the larger live tiles or for the smaller live tiles? That'll be pretty cool to see. Now, you guys probably know by now that Microsoft and Nokia partnered a while back, came out with some pretty cool Windows Phone devices, the Lumia 900, probably the best Windows Phone device on the market. But now they're doing even more with this partnership because starting with Windows Phone 8, all Windows Phone devices will use Nokia Maps as the first-party Maps application. So Bing Maps is gone. It will now be Nokia Maps. The nice thing about this is that Windows Phone will now have turn-by-turn navigation, which will definitely be nice. It also means that you'll be able to use your maps offline, so even if you don't have a data connection, you can still have access to your maps. And it means too that other countries where Bing Maps wasn't available, they will now have access to maps on their Windows Phone devices because Nokia Maps is a global maps application. Now, there's one cool new feature that Microsoft introduced, and it's called Wallet. And you know, it's kind of an idea that we've seen before. You have Google Wallet with NFC payments, you can link your credit cards. Apple just introduced Passbook where you can have your cards in there and have access to them. But Wallet really brings all of that together. So when you first open the app, you can see all of your cards, whether they're debit cards, credit cards, rewards cards, library cards, any membership money related cards you have will be listed in this app. And then to the right, there's a section for deals where you can have stored coupons, which is related to another feature. So that's not really anything new. I mean, we've seen that before with Google Wallet, Apple's Passbook application, but the cool thing is that when you select a card, you can see tons of information about that account, how much money you have, transactions, you can perform transactions, and so it's not just the card that you can use to make payments, because obviously that's a feature. You can use your credit card to make an NFC payment, but you can also see detailed information about that card. Now, we've been hearing a lot about Skype integration. You know, Microsoft bought Skype, and so the assumption was that eventually we would see Skype integration in Windows Phone. Microsoft detailed that yes, there would be some sort of Skype integration, but it's not exactly what everyone thought. The way it works is that any VoIP application can plug into the Windows Phone calling feature so that it basically becomes integrated into the software. Microsoft also announced some updates to Internet Explorer with IE 10. That will be coming to Windows Phone 8. It's faster, has some security enhancements. They also announced some cool enterprise features and also a speech function. Now, everyone kind of thought, will Microsoft do something to compete with Siri, or, you know, Samsung has S Voice? Well, Microsoft did do something to compete with that, but they did it in a way that really I don't think anyone was expecting. So Microsoft has created standard APIs for speech recognition that each app developer can take advantage of and use in their app. So this speech recognition is not necessarily a feature of the phone or the operating system, but it's really each individual app that will have the function, and you'll be able to communicate with that app. So it's kind of different and unique, and on the one hand, I'm excited to see it. It's kind of going to be kind of cool to see it implemented in a different way, but at the same time, I'm thinking, wouldn't it be easier to just touch the screen? I don't know, I'll have to see how it plays out, but it's definitely a unique way of implementing this feature. Now, when can we expect to see Windows Phone 8? Well, Microsoft didn't have a lot of details, but they said they're planning for a fall release. That's when we should see some new phones. They said some of their hardware partners will be Nokia, HTC, Huawei, and someone else that I can't remember, Samsung. So those are some of the hardware partners. We should see some of those Windows Phone 8 devices from them in the fall. Also, the Windows Phone 7.8 update that I mentioned in the beginning, that will be available after Windows Phone 8 is released again this fall. So those are the new features, at least the ones that Microsoft showed us. They did kind of hint that there were more UI features and updates, but they were going to show us them at a later date or another event. So keep your eyes on phonedog.com as we keep you more updated on this. And let me know what you think of these new features about Windows Phone 8. Are you excited? Are you upset about not getting the updates? Is there something that you don't like? Let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I'm Sydney from phonedog.com. Thanks for watching this recap video, and I will see you guys later. Bye.